First update we'll show you is the NeSL Reviewer or NeSL Data Reviewer. Right. We'll be coming to EBG in about 8-9 minutes after this demo of Reviewer is done. I know a lot of you have come for EBG, but actually Reviewer is a feature that even helps you with your EBG flow as well. Through this feature demo, we'll also be able to give you a glimpse into what that front end that I talked about actually looks like. But first, let's start with a small story, right? So one, it's important to remember that NeSL today, and you'll know this better than I, is primarily used for secure loan products, right? What this means is that compliance, security, enforceability are super high priorities for the documentation process for these products because they are naturally of a very high value and they usually have collateral, right? So that's compliance and security are high priorities for documents via NeSL on one hand. On the other hand, NeSL asks for a lot of data when you are actually sending out these documents via NeSL, right? We'll show you exactly how much data in a bit on the dashboard. But he asked this because ultimately NeSL has to act as an information utility for all debt in India, essentially a single source of truth for debt. So they need to ask all this data, right? So right now we have two things, right? One is transactions via NeSL are super high value, necessitating compliance. Two, NeSL asks for a lot of data, right? You have these two things that are prerequisites for an NeSL journey. But when you actually combine these two, you actually have a kind of recipe for disaster because on one hand, you can't really afford errors because of the high value of these transactions. But on the other hand, the sheer volume of data that is requested makes errors significantly more likely, right? So one of our clients, a large private bank, shared with us what they do. Right? They told us that the bank member initiating the NeSL journey does so through, say, a computer at their desk in office. They then said they assign a separate reviewer, right? And this reviewer actually stands over the initiator physically and literally stands over them to check the entries, right? And they faced obviously a major problem with this. One, the process was too dependent on this reviewer being physically present. So if the reviewer was in a meeting or was on leave, the initiator could not proceed with that transaction, meaning a delay both for the bank and for the customer. And remember, there's someone waiting for a loan at the other end. Fundamentally, it's a customer facing business, right? So this is a competitive risk as well for the bank because any delay can cause you to lose a customer. So it was this very specific yet very key problem that led us to build NeSL Reviewer, right? So with NeSL Reviewer, your initiator does not actually need to be in the same room physically to review documents. Instead, you can include them as a digital participant completely remotely. Instead of telling you more about this, I'm going to hand it over to Ronit to actually show you how this works on the dashboard on the front end. Over to you, Ronit.
Thank you, Aditya. Hello, everyone. Let us see how you can send an NeSL document with a reviewer. I'll be sharing my screen. Yeah, please let me know once my screen is visible.
Yeah, Ronit, it is visible.
All right. So this is the sending journey of Leegality. Let me upload a sample loan agreement. All right, I've uploaded a sample loan agreement over here. I click on next. Now on this particular page, I will configure invitees. First, I will configure one reviewer. Let me add my own email address. And let me switch this invitee card to a reviewer card by clicking on the make reviewer icon. So now this particular invitee card is a reviewer. I should also add my mobile number to just show you how a reviewer can get a message on WhatsApp, a message to review a document. All right. Next, I'll be adding NeSL invitees. The first one being a borrower. I'm changing the signature type to NeSL. And the second NeSL invitee being a creditor. Again, changing the signature type to NeSL. Now that I've added 3 invitees, one is a reviewer, the second is an NESL signer as the borrower, and third is also an NESL signer as a creditor, I shall go to the NESL form. All right, I'm just adding an expiry for this particular invitation. Okay. Now let us take a look at the NESL form. As you can see, the NESL form contains a lot of data points which need to be collected from the sender. There's details on the loan, the document itself, loan number, sanction number, rate of interest. There's details on stamp, which is the first party, second party, the stamp duty amount, and there are also details on both NESL signers, the borrower and the creditor. We have a quick way to add this information using an Excel file. Anshul will be explaining this in detail in some time, but for now, let me upload an Excel to populate all of these fields very quickly. I upload an Excel and I click on upload. Now, as you can see, all of my data is populated, and I click on submit form. After uploading an Excel as a sender of a document, I do my due diligence and check the stamp duty amount and a few other details. After which I click on submit and I send out this document. All right. After sending this document, I, as a reviewer, must have received a message on WhatsApp. So let me just open up WhatsApp. All right. So I've received this. Greetings, viewer. Sender has requested you to review a document, sample loan agreement. Please click on the review button below the review, before it expires. So I shall click on review document. And this is the page that opens up. Let's just take a look at the review journey from an actual reviewer's perspective, and a reviewer will be able to review using their mobile screen. So let's take a look at this journey on a mobile screen. So I first review the document, and after reviewing the document, I click on proceed. Now in this section, I get to review the details of the loan. These are the form fields which have been filled by the sender. I can review stamp duty amount, I can review the consideration price, I can review other details of the document of the NESL form. I can also easily navigate in between sections by clicking on this icon and just clicking on the section where I want to navigate. So after navigating, let's say there is an error in stamp duty amount and I want to flag it. So I don't want this document to go forward to NESL. So I click on proceed. I do a basic authentication, which I also get on WhatsApp. So let me just copy this OTP. I paste it over here. I click on proceed. Okay. And now I'm rejecting this particular document because there was an error in the stamp duty amount. So when I click on reject and click on proceed, I get an option to provide a rejection reason. So over here, I can provide a rejection reason. Stamp duty should be rupees 100 instead of rupees 10. And I reject this document. All right, so my review process is completed. After my review process as a reviewer is completed, I get a WhatsApp notification saying that your rejection has been recorded and you just rejected a loan agreement. Now, this is a message that I, as a reviewer, am getting. Even the sender of this document will get a message, will get an email notification which says that the reviewer has rejected the document, and they will also get the message, the rejection message which had been typed. So stamp duty should be rupees 100 instead of rupees 10. At this point, I know what error as a sender I've made and what needs to be rectified. So this was a rejection flow. Let us quickly take a look at a flow where I can approve the document. So I review this particular document. I click on proceed. I review all details which have been filled by the sender, and I proceed. Then I do a quick authentication. And I approve this document. Click on the checkbox and click on approve. And this document has been approved. Now this document will be sent out to the borrower and to the creditor for e-signing via NeSL.
So Ronit, just to be clear, just a question we often receive is you can basically block it from going to the signer unless the reviewer has actually given the approval. Like you can
Correct.
hard code that logic essentially in the flow. Like
Yes.
the reviewer cannot be technically bypassed.
Yes.
And the second question is this review rejection request in an API flow as well. Does the sender still need to go into their email or their WhatsApp or their SMS to actually see the request, or is there a way to pass that message via API as well?
In the API flow, the sender will still receive a notification on their email stating that their
Right.
request has been rejected.
Got it. But is there a way to pass the message itself via API, the rejection request?
The rejection request via API, there can be a webhook notification which is triggered upon
Understood.
rejection.
Understood. Great. Thanks so much, Ronit.
Such employees are generally swinging from one meeting to another, always having some work to be done. For them, reviewing a form while being very important is a secondary task. So they want to do it in between two tasks. Being able to review on their mobile device while commuting or between two meetings is the most ideal thing for them. So we have created a mobile friendly flow for such reviewers. All right, back to you, Aditya.
Great. Thanks so much, Ronit. So NeSL Reviewer is live right now. So if you want to start using it, we'll tell you how you can start using it and how you can reach out to us.